Time now for a bigger picture with Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to talk again about social media. We've talked about social media in the past, but I like the conversation we're going to have today because this is something that I've noticed as well. You had brought this up that, sometimes social media will almost make you feel bad for doing well.
Right. And I think in a way, now, I don't know, I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but in a way we're systematically being fed the idea that to chase your dreams, whatever they might be, to succeed in the world in some way, we're sort of systematically being taught to feel crappy or guilty about that somehow we are, just by pursuing whatever our goals or dreams are, just by trying to succeed at whatever we have going on, that is somehow we're taking advantage of people and we're using others, whatever, the doing of this is essentially damaging to the world we live in. That it's inherently damaging to the economy, and it's inherently damaging to other people, and all of these types of things. Yeah. And I'm seeing this more and more, and it's, again, I don't know what the intention behind it is, but there's certainly if you adhere to social media, there's these two camps, and one of them is that we're trying to succeed type of, we're trying to, these are our ideas, this is what we think is important, and, God bless them. And then this other camp, which is really, this is a problem. All of these other people, they are the problem. Oh, yeah. And that's really kind of the message, is if you're trying to succeed in some way, that you're part of the problem. Yeah. And that you're not supposed to be able to do that without feeling guilty or crappy about yourself.
And I think I understand what you're saying. And I'll share an example. You tell me if we're clicking on the same cylinders here, because I've got a friend who is pursuing a stand-up comedy career, and that's his current job. He's not doing other things. He's doing only that. And, there are times that things are a little tight because there's not a ton of money in that. And the number of times, because I'm always encouraging him, and any time I get a chance to, I'm encouraging what he's doing. I think what he's doing is great. He's a funny guy. I think he could absolutely, positively make it big. And he's not afraid to try. And he's at a point where he's like, I'm not going to be able to do this forever, so I'm doing this now. Sure. But the number of people who are on his page saying, get a job. Right. What are you doing? And I just watched that. I'm like, why in the world? Like, this is his job. He's doing this. It's not like he's going to do this forever if it doesn't work, but he's giving himself some time to let this thing work. And the number of negative Nellies that are on there going, just go get a job. Why are you doing this? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a piece of it because, on one hand, we should be able to pursue our dreams, whatever they might be, our goals, without guilt or without shame. Yeah. We should be able to do that. Because what else is this life for? Yeah. Now, if you have responsibilities, whatever they might be, you also need to be aware of those and but if you don't have any responsibilities beyond yourself and you're comfortable where you are, you should be allowed to pursue your dreams without guilt or shame. So, the question I have to people who are listening is, are you able to do that? Yeah. Are you pursuing your dreams without guilt or without shame? Are you following what it is that you really want to do? And can you do that comfortably? Or do you experience a struggle, stress, negative feelings when you even think about it? Yeah. Oh, this is because how many people out there have something they really want to do? Yeah, but they are not doing it because of the fear of other people's reactions.
Absolutely, and I think every cemetery is filled with with songs that have never been sung, poems that have never been written, books that have never been written, people who take to the grave with them this idea of what they wanted to do, unfulfilled dreams, I think is what I was looking for. They don't do it, and sometimes it's because they're afraid to do it, but other times they're literally told you can't do it.
Right, and those are two separate things that are worthy of attention. Sometimes it is fear of failure. That is a piece which deserves its own time and attention. But then the other part is that you don't do it or feel like you can't do it because we're systematically being made to feel bad for doing that. That somehow that behavior is you're I don't know. Like I said, you're taking advantage of other people. You're whatever it is. Yeah. And all of us need to be able to pursue our dreams, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
Without guilt or shame and without fear.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we at Sioux Falls Hypnosis, this is something that we fairly frequently work with. We'd work with a lot of independent business owners who are experiencing some level of stress just over the difficulties of having your own business and pursuing your own dream, and being able to do that comfortably and easily, not only in a way that it just allows you to survive it, but also to actually enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And to realize that you get to be okay during that whole thing. Yeah. And you can let go of the fear, you can let go of the guilt and shame, and still take feedback, still learn, still grow, still succeed.
If somebody listening is maybe struggling with that, and maybe they didn't even realize that's what the struggle was until they just heard you say it that way, because there are times that people are maybe a little down on something. They don't even know what's going on. They just know there's something. I don't know what it is, but there's something. And if what you were just talking about, where they're successful, why am I not happy? I should be happy.
Right.
I'm doing well, but it's because social media and we'll just say the world is trying to make them feel guilty for doing well.
Right.
What can they do? What if they reached out to you and said, "Hey, help me with that"? What does that look like?
So what we do is really the idea that the shame and guilt, the idea of feeling bad for doing well or wanting to do well. This is something that you need to be able to let go of. This is a process of maturity.
Okay.
That one of the things I would tell people is guilt and shame don't really they have their place in the rearing of children.
Yeah.
They're important for lots of reasons that we could talk about. But as an adult, guilt, shame, these things aren't useful at all. And one of the things that we need to be able to do is engage in the behavior we want to engage in. Your behavior needs to be appreciated or changed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Appreciate what you're doing or change it. Guilt and shame, all it does is interfere with that process.
Clouds everything.
And it's really something that we need to be able to put down and let go of. And that can be a bit of a process, but nothing too big. And the other piece is the fear thing.
Yeah.
Are you feeling stressed, afraid of failure, afraid, you're just experiencing your dream as a weight and a burden and a pressure. And in those cases, the idea about fear is, I believe, me and Bobby McGee, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
There you go. Yeah.
The idea is you don't have to be afraid when you realize you're going to be okay no matter what happens next.
Very nice.
That's the place where you have to be.
If somebody listening would like some assistance getting to that place, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
You can find us on the internet at SiouxFallsHypnosis.com, or you can call us directly at 605-702-6691.
Very nice. Dr. Dan with Sioux Falls Hypnosis. If you're catching the tail end of this program, in addition to this being on the radio, it's also a podcast, and you can find that and listen at your leisure at SiouxFallsPodcast.com.